Hey there, so welcome back. This is Atul from team K21 Academy, and in this lesson, we are going to look at global infrastructure that consists of your geography, region, availability zone, or data centers or fault domain and update domain. So we'll talk about what is region and region pair, availability zone, fault domain and update domain so that you have the or you get the availability options of like the percentage of virtual machine availability. So we are going to cover all this in this lesson. So first is if you see at the top level, you have your data centers, and in data centers you have a rack or in which your servers are placed. So you assume this is a rack and that you have server 1, server 2, server 3 like that. So that is data center, which will have its own cooling, its own power, everything, networking, and so on. Then you have like that multiple data centers. Now, collection or grouping of different data centers, they make a availability zone. So within availability zone, you might have data center 1, data center 2, which are connected by a high bandwidth, low latency network, and they can so that these machines probably work as a single unit or the machine within this data center and machine this is within this data center are very close with connected with low latency. Then you have multiple availability zones like that. So collection of availability zones is makes a region. So within a region, for example, you have a US region and US East. Within US East, you have US East 1, US East 2, and so on. Similarly, then within that's one region, you might have a US West and US West 1, US West 2, US West 3, which are these availability zones. And then collection of regions have a geography. So you have like US is a geography, India is a geography. Within India, you have a region called North India or maybe West India and South India or Central India and South India and so on. So re geography has regions. Regions have one or more availability zones, and availability zone will have one or more fault domain or sorry data centers in which you have your servers placed. Now, so worldwide there are around 50 plus regions representing 140 countries. Now, the mark which is marked again, this is a I'm doing it in early 2021 in March 2021. This is a diagram where you have these blue dark dots are regions which are available for you. The circle ones, dotted circle one are the one which are regions announced, and within that, this square will represent a availability zone that whether you have availability zone or here or not. So this is around 50 plus regions there. Now, regions are each there is a region which is connected with another region we call regional pairs, and that will help for disaster recovery as we saw in site recovery and other one of the high availability in disaster recovery when we were discussing earlier. You can have one region, and then within a region you have availability zones like availability zone 1, availability zone 2, availability zone 3. These are all three connected with a high bandwidth low latency pipe, and within that availability zone, you have the data centers DC1 and DC within data centers. Now, these region 1 and 2 are with a data residency boundary, meaning that with program like with government laws, you can have a data in one region and then that can go to other regions. So the regions are paired so that they adhere to the data residency boundary, which means if the boundary is US, the data will stay in US even though they are two different regions in US. So this is another way of representing region pair. You have a geography. Inside that you have a region pair, which you have region 1 and region 2, and they have their data centers. Now, the pair region, they have already defined. So in geography, you have Asia Pacific, you have East Asia and Southeast Asia. So in Hong Kong and Singapore. If you look at US or UK, you have UK West and UK South. If you have India, you have a Central India with South India. You also have West India with South India. So South India is common with Central and this. So the data is these are paired. If you see Australia, there's Australia East and Australia Southeast. Now these region pair will help for your disaster recovery. So they are usually more than 300 miles apart, and these are used for recovery purpose or DR purpose. So as I said, you have ability zone 1, zone 2, zone 3 in a region. And then if one zone fails, you have another zone working so that your application is always active or available. So you have a VM1 here, VM2 here, and VM3 here. Even if this zone is not available, 2 and 3 will continue to work here, virtual machines. So that's availability zone. Then there is a concept of fault domain and update domain. And this is again a question in Azure Fundamental if you're looking at this in Azure AZ900. So this is assume this is a server a rack. In that rack, you have server 1, server 2, server 3, server 4, and you have virtual machines placed. Similarly, you have so these racks will be counted as a fault domain. And so you have rack 2, rack 3, and fault domain. And within these racks, you have servers, which is update domain 1, update domain 2, update domain 3 as well. So update domain allows Azure to perform incremental or rolling upgrade across a deployment. So when they are doing the scheduled maintenance, they are probably doing in update domain 0, update domain 1, like that. So for they help on an incremental rolling upgrade. So during any planned maintenance, only one update domain is rebooted. So make sure that if you are doing within a data center, you have two machines, they are deployed on different update domain, and Microsoft will handle that for you so that you don't need to worry. So if you have two machines in a data center, they will go in two different update domain so that when during planned maintenance, only one update domain is rebooted, so your machine is active. Then you have a fault domain, which is nothing but a group of virtual machines that share a common set of hardware switches that share the single point of failure. So make sure that if you create two machines, they should not go under same fault domain. And that is done using availability set. So if you create a availability set, they always go across different fault domain. So you have a fault domain. So in this fault domain, or if there is a fault develops, all the machines will go or will not be available if they are in same fault domain. And hence, you always try to put these machines into one fault domain, one here, and fault domain two here, so that if fault domain goes down, you have another machine coming here. Now, this is automatically implemented if you create two machines in a same availability set. And there's a concept, you will not understand it right now, but when we're creating a machine, that time you will see availability set. Let me show it to you on the console itself when you're creating a virtual machine. So I'm on this here console, and I'm creating a Azure virtual machine under high availability set. So I'll say create a virtual machine. And if you see under availability options, so if you select a availability set, the one machine will go into one fault domain, and then if you create another virtual machine in the same availability set, then these two machines will automatically be placed in two different fault domains. So this is a concept about fault domain and update domain. It's important to know. So based on your requirement, if you need 99.9% SLA, then you can create a single VM and Microsoft Azure will commit for 99.9% uptime. If your service level agreement is 99.95%, then you deploy two machines in a availability set, which means within a data center, they will go under different fault domains. Microsoft will do it. So if you need 99.95% SLA, you achieve or you create two machines with availability set. However, if you need 99.99% SLA, then you create two machines but across availability zone. And again, when we were creating an option, there was an option, or you will see an option to say availability zone across. So you will create one in availability zone 1 and second in availability zone 2 for high availability. That way you get 99.99% uptime. And if you need disaster recovery, you create these across different regions. So that's the availability option for you. So just to do a quick recap from a global infrastructure point of view, Microsoft have the data centers like this, which you have a data residency boundary. In that you have region 1 and region 2. These are paired region. Within a region you have availability zone, and then within availability zone you have data centers. These availability zones within a region are interconnected with each other with fast bandwidth or low latency connection. And this is the fault domain and update domain. And if you're appearing for AZ900, expect a couple of questions answered inside update domain and fault domain. And this gives me the availability options. So in order for me to achieve 99.95, I'll need two machines, but under the same availability set so that they are automatically get deployed inside the different fault domain. Similarly, if I want 99.99, I'll need two machines, but across different availability zones. With that, let's head on to the next lesson, which is about ARM, which is Resource Manager and Resource Group. And we are almost towards end of this now. So where we say resource group, resource group, and management group. And then we'll talk about management tools. And then finally, we'll wrap it up this module with the lab on creating an Azure account. So I'll see you in next lesson.
So guys, if you also want to have a good job around Azure Cloud, then we have something really special for you. We have our absolutely free class on how to prepare for Azure Cloud jobs and certification. Under this interactive session, you'll be learning about top certification options in Azure Cloud, job opportunities, our 8-week roadmap to learn, get certified, and get higher paying jobs. So if you want to register for the same, all you have to do is just log on to K21Academy.com/AZ10402. You'll be seeing this kind of interface. Just click on book your free seats now. And after that, select event date, add your full name, your email address, your phone number, and click on yes, save my seats now. Moving ahead, you'll be seeing this kind of link on the extreme right. You just have to click it, save it, and I'll see you in the free class. Till then, take care and keep learning.